Hello and welcome back to Kinboshi Radio here on the Kinboshi Sumo channel where, of course, we are trapped in the heat dome. Hephaestus has opened up the blast doors to his furnace, so we are hiding in my basement and it appears Nick has sadly been swallowed up, but that's okay. Sean, irashimasen. We both got our Family Mart socks on and we're ready to talk about some sumo, right?
We're doing it, July basho.
Yeah, how you doing, man? How you enjoying the heat, and is the sumo gonna be a reprieve for you?
The heat is miserable and sumo is gonna be nice and cool.
Yeah, I like it too, but before we go any further, let's talk about the news. So, the only real stories that I saw here were primarily about these ranking changes and stuff like that. Very exciting that Kazuma has gotten promoted. Very exciting that Yoshinofuji is making his debut up in the Sanyaku. But one that I saw on Nikon Sports that I think at least is big enough that it deserves to be talked about, Sean, is Wakatakakage gave an interview. And he, the phrasing, again, you got to trust my middle school at best Japanese skills, but he basically said something like, I don't have much time left, or I won't get many more chances at this, referring to the fact that he's now a Sekiwake, he's coming off of a Yusho victory, so he's on an Ozeki run, which, interestingly, he's been on a lot of these Ozeki runs. How do you feel about that? Does that make you feel good or bad, Sean? Him kind of knowing that the clock is ticking, like, does that make you feel more confident, like he's going to be determined to get this? Or less confident, like, yeah, man, you don't have much time left?
Less confident.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I hear it, though.
Honestly, a little sad because time has flown by if he's already thinking, you know, his chances are already passing.
Right.
But, yeah, everyone's getting fully healthy now.
Yeah.
So it's like the clock is ticking right now.
And that's the thing. He got a surprise Yusho victory on a very exciting playoff victory over Kirishima. Him and Kirishima were both doing great, so that is an incredibly strong win, right?
Yeah.
But we talked about it before. Definitely the second half of that tournament, week 2, did not look like what we thought it was going to look like.
They were dropping like flies.
Yeah, exactly. It was brutal. And in fact, yeah, because in a lot of ways, May was a story of who wasn't there rather than a story of who was there.
Yep.
And I think that stinks for the likes of Kirishima and Wakatakakage. Now, it's not entirely true, right? Like, we have a lot of positive things that came out of those two guys and the run, and that was a very exciting tournament. Yep. But I think it's impossible to talk about May 2026 without talking about the fact that neither Yokozuna was there, that Koto Zakura pulled out halfway through, that our other Ozeki, Aonishiki, was just not there the entire time.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I am not that confident about Wakatakakage here, but if he does do it, it's a murderer's row, and boy deserves it if he can.
Exactly. He definitely deserves it if he can pull it off.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I think that's all I really want to talk about for the news, because really, I just want to get into this Bansuke, yeah?
Let's do it.
To the preview. Okay, so let's just break this down ranking-wise. We're going to talk about the Sanyaku, the Joijin, the mid Maegashiras, and the low Maegashiras before we make our dark horse and our favorite picks for this tournament. The Sanyaku has to be the story, right? We've been talking about top-heavy Bansukes for a long time now. And that hasn't entirely bared out because of the injuries, right? But everything I'm seeing, Onosato is practicing again. He keeps giving weird cagey interviews where it doesn't sound like he thinks he's totally healthy, but he's rested what we believe. Phil will be on next week and we'll talk more about rotator cuff injuries, although you've experienced some of that yourself if you want to talk about it. Starting with the Yokozunas, Hoshoryu and Onosato, neither of whom competed in entire basho last time. How do you feel about these two guys?
So I have more confidence in one, Hoshoryu, first over Onosato. They both showed up. They both performed in France. So, you know, that's a positive.
That is huge. The fact that Onosato still went to France is one of the big things for me. Yeah.
And granted, you know, how much do they push themselves? But it's still a sign in the positive direction. If he's, again, it's on a loop. If he's healthy, he's the overall favorite. Onosato. I mean, nobody can beat him. I don't think he's going to be healthy. I think he, at best, probably 80%. So I'm really looking at Hoshoryu. Of the Yokozunas, I can see it being Hoshoryu's basho to lose.
I'm trying to think here. And so, like, so like you said, maybe he's 80% and stuff like that. is this a weak enough Bansuke, though, that an 80% Onosato still wins it?
Yo, I mean, that's a fair argument. And I mean, the one thing that I can kind of look at too is, Hoshoryu pulled out so early. He didn't really take, once he knew he was injured, he was done.
Yeah.
He pulled out immediately. So, I mean, does he have more recovering time? Who knows? But, again, if Onosato is, 70, 80%, there is an argument to say he's still better than everybody else.
Right. So like, and the reason I bring that up is because in January of this year, he did go 10-5. That was a disappointing basho. We talk about everything that happened at the end, how that closed out and things like that. But he was still in the running to win that thing. And this injury that he's been working on, he obtained in November, reportedly, of 2025, right?
Yep.
So it's like, man, was he 80% then? Probably not. Or maybe he was, or maybe now there's more rest, or maybe he aggravated. I don't know what percentage he's at right now compared to how he was in January of this year, but he's still got double digits, which, make no mistake, is not what we want from a Yokozuna.
Yeah.
But is he better than he was in January? Can he get 12 wins when 12 still seems like enough? Again, I don't know the answer to these questions. Let us know in the comments what you guys think as well, because I'm really curious where we all think he is. Again, I'll talk to Phil next week and see what an injury prognosis usually is for that. Or, Sean, if you want to knock in on that, let me know. But like, that's just what I'm curious about, because I 100% agree with you that like, Onosato is the best Rikishi in sumo right now if everybody's at 100%.
Yep.
What percentage is he at?
Exactly. And then based off our previous conversations, is the magic number 12?
Right, exactly.
I mean, or is everybody just trying to get to 12 to win a basho?
Right. Because again, in this modern era, we did the whole Goose episode of 12 wins is not a Yusho, and we know that the old guard in sumo does not think 12 wins is enough to really consider yourself a grand champion. They would rather it be 13 and stuff like that, whatever. But your point about that 12 to 13, like, anyone who gets 12 should be in the running.
Yeah.
Anyone who gets 13 should win it based on past metrics.
Yep.
We'll see. What about Hoshoryu? Do you think he is better off than Onosato?
I do, but if you ask me why, I don't know if I could tell you why.
Is it just because he's been competing?
Yes,
like, yeah.
That's it's just it's that. It's just I've seen him more often. I want to say, just based off my own experiences, having that type of shoulder injury, I mean, it's
that Onosato has.
It's so detrimental. But then exactly what you said, it hasn't been that detrimental for him when he's competed in the past, at least earlier in the year. So I don't know, coin flip.
Right, those 10 wins were effectively on one arm.
Yeah.
He was doing Oshi Sumo in January on one arm.
Still took care of business.
Right, he's still bigger than everyone, that doesn't change. He's still stronger than everyone, that doesn't change. The question is, does it matter if you're stronger than them but you only have one arm?
Yep.
Whereas Hoshoryu, it's one of those things that I don't know how to judge this, because I'm with you that like, I feel like he's healthier because he's been trying to roll out there, but is that worse?
Yep.
We had Brett from One Punch Fight Team on here, and he talked about overtraining in combat sports and how he thinks that Hoshoryu, like many Rikishi, is overtraining, and that's a risk because he isn't healing. He isn't choosing to take the time off to heal. So we'll see what that means, because Brett also had some really good points about Kirishima and about the idea of taking time off. Okay, what do I want to say this? I'm more interested in what he had to say about Aonishiki, where if Aonishiki is taking this European mentality and saying that my floor is 11 wins.
Yep.
I always get 11 wins. So why not just give up the Ozeki rank and come back and get 11 wins?
Yep.
Let's bounce down to Ozeki and talk about this, where we have a former Ozeki dropped to Sekiwake, who is going to try to bounce immediately back up. And then we have Kotozakura, who's Kadoban. Between those two guys are two Ozeki from last time, setting aside Kirishima for now, because we've kind of already talked about him, but we'll talk about him again. How do you feel about those two?
I have more faith in Aonishiki by far.
Yeah. This is only the second time Kotosakura has ever been Kadoban in his career, actually, which is interesting because we think of him as injured constantly.
Yeah.
But he keeps grinding out winning records. They're just not double digits. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He just looked defeated last basho. Now, the rules, I wasn't familiar with Aonishiki kind of rule to where, you know, if he was injured, he can come back with 10 wins. I didn't know that was a thing. Since it is a thing, I have more faith with him getting his double digits. He always seems to be getting double digits. He's, like he just said,
that was Brett's point. Yep.
That's his thing. It's so I believe he can get at least 10. But for some reason inside of me, I think Kotozakura is just trending in the wrong direction. I think this is his time to actually fall out.
Ooh.
I mean, we were pushing like, hey, he's Yokozuna. This is his chance. He missed his chance. Then it was kind of this Shodai thing of, well, he's just getting his 8 to 10 wins. He's just getting his 8 to 10 wins. Now he fell out. I think he's just going to keep falling.
And I mean, he has Katobond. If he gets 8 wins, then it all goes away and he stays Okazaki and stuff like that. But where I found that maybe a more bombastic statement that you just made than I think a lot of people would, because I think a lot of people would agree with you. It's just one of those things, because I agree, like, considering the size of him and considering his weight and the fact that he has had this reconstructive knee surgery quite a while ago, like, that doesn't get better. You can have the surgery and you can fix it, but, like, he is on the opposite side of his prime, I think, certainly. The question is, where is he on that downslope? Because if you're on the other side of your prime, but you're still next to the peak, then by all means, he can still win Yushos. Maybe even further down that slope, he can still win Yushos. But I do agree that it doesn't seem like Kotozakura has the majority of his career in front of him.
No.
Yeah.
I agree.
Whereas Aonishiki, it very much feels that way.
Yep.
And with the ankle injury, nothing was broken. He did take all the time off. This is the kind of stuff we want to see from people. This is this new external attitude. Maybe a European sports attitude can come in here with him coming out of the Ukrainian system.
Yep. He's still young.
Exactly. So, I mean, I kind of agree with you. I don't think Kotozakura is going to lose Ozeki. I think he'll be able to grind out 8 wins, and I don't think it'll be that hard for him. My question is it another, like, 8 wins, 5 losses, 2 Kyujos? and I don't want to see that as the problem, but I think he can do that.
Yeah.
What about, so we've already talked about both of them a little bit then, but our other 2 guys here, the 2 guys who were in the championship, so Kirishima at Ozeki, but also Wakatakakage at Sekiwake. Do you consider both of them contenders? By all accounts, both should be healthy here. Do you consider them contenders, or is there so much confusion at the top in terms of the quality of this top-heavy Bansuke that you would write them off?
I'm not writing off Kirishima.
Yeah.
I think of the 2, he has a better chance of winning. I think if the Yokozunas are still kind of hobbled, I can see him taking it again.
And I'll pause you real quick just because, like, why, right? So I actually agree with you or whatever, but let's break down. Why do we feel like Kirishima has a better chance of winning than Wakatakakage when just last basho, when the chips were down, it went the other way? Why has Wakatakakage not flipped that narrative? He hasn't picked up a new injury.
That's a great question.
So should we reverse our opinion then?
We should.
You can feel a certain way, but what's the data? Okay, why not?
I think Kirishima had a better tournament overall.
Sure.
I think he got beat at the very end. I was fully expecting him to win it all, but
me too.
That last match, you know, flipped that switch. But I just think he has more momentum. I think Wakatakakage was kind of a flash in the pan, whereas Kirishima, I felt like it was kind of building in that direction.
Dude, this is fascinating because my gut instinct agrees with everything you're saying, but the data I don't think does, right? I'm like, yeah, I agree. Wakatakakage feels like a guy like Daisho who, like, we all know was good, and then all of a sudden shows up and, oh my goodness, here, I've won a Yusho, like Daisho's 2021 January, I believe it was. But I'm like, but we definitively have to say that's not true anymore. Wakatakakage has won 2 Yushos. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to give you a hard time.
No, I get it.
I think this is the narrative. In the world of sumo Reddit, in the English-speaking sumo, I think this is the narrative that we're all like, no, Kirishima's the blue blood Wakatakakage. And I'm like, and yes, Kirishima has still won more Yushos than Wakatakakage. I just am trying to stand the line for the Wakatakakage stands here because I'm like, dude, he's a multiple-time Yusho winner and he came back from a horrible injury and he looked so strong. That left hand inside the Hidari Yoso, he looked so good last time.
It did. I think it's, I don't know. I feel like it's there's that kind of path to Yokozuna for Kirishima.
Oh, sure. It's about this narrative of wins like, over time. Yeah, okay.
So now it's like, okay.
Yeah.
He could be the next Yokozuna.
Sure.
So in my mind, I'm like, he should be able next to win. Even though it's probably irrational. I like Wakatakakage more personally. I think he's a much, better wrestler to watch, but I don't know. Just Kirishima just feels like the right choice. It just feels right.
I hear you, and again, I think this is the best thing you said there. That if I wanna get on Mount Pius and talk about data or whatever, 11 wins, 11 wins, 12 wins, 12 wins.
Yeah,
that is Kirishima's last 4 tournaments.
That's pretty.
Those are monster numbers. We talk about wanting 13, not 12, and we talk about the late collapses from Kirishima after the incredibly hot starts. But nevertheless, what Rikishi would not kill for 11, 11, 12, 12?
That's great.
Yeah, exactly. How about, so Wakatakakage gets to jump up to Sekiwake, deserved. It made this weird logjam, though, where we have 4 Sekiwakes because Wakatakakage jumps up, Aonishiki drops down. So our 2 Sekiwakes had to hold serve, but we had good performances from Atamifuji last time. So let's start there. Atamifuji is a guy that Nick and I had winning the Young Zeki sweepstakes. He's got arthritis in those hips, reportedly. That is not good considering how young he is and how big he is. But how did you feel about Atamifuji's performance last time?
It was great. I thought he did very well. He at least did what I expected him to do. I wasn't expecting him to win.
Yeah.
By any means.
And like he did better than he had to, right? 9 and 6 instead of 8 and 7.
Yep.
Which is much better, right? It's not even close to getting you in the conversation for Ozeki right now, which is why I bring up the Young Zeki sweepstakes thing. But
no.
But that means you're competing against the best of the best and doing what he couldn't do a couple years ago when he spent the whole year in the Joijin and was just kind of struggling, grinding. 9 wins, good.
Yeah.
I interrupted you though.
No, he's up in the top ranks and he's winning. So to me, that's perfect. That's where he should be. Consistently 9, 10 wins. That's kind of where I see him. Especially with his health and stuff. And like before all that, I would be like, yeah, he needs to start winning on some, he should be Ozeki, but man, it's so top heavy these days.
I know, that's the thing.
And it's so hard to just amass those 33 wins. Like, where are these wins coming from?
Right. And so that's the big question is, but can he do it? Because if we're going to talk about what have you done for me lately? Well, this year, Atamifuji with that 12-win January, which is what got this whole train started, then 9 wins, 9 wins. And so he is a very deserving Sekiwake right now. What do you think? Considering what this top looks like right now, and even these new challengers, right? We talked about a whole new row at Sekiwake because of Wakatakakage and Aonishiki there, who Aonishiki we think can become an Ozeki again in a heartbeat. What do you think for Atamifuji? Like, is he going to get blasted, or does he do 9 again, or what does this mean?
No, I think he's pretty even par with like 9, 10. I don't see him getting more. And it's not to his fault. It's just Aonishiki's there, Kirishima's there. Like all of these, I think they're just better.
Yeah, well, I mean, and the numbers would indicate that, right? Like they have gotten to the ranks they have gotten to. You're naming off former and current Ozekis and Ozekis to be, and guys who've recaptured Ozeki and guys who are going to.
But even the people that are coming, Yoshinofuji, all of those, I mean, they're coming up too.
Well, let's talk about it then. And then right across from him is Kotoshoho, right? Who not quite as good, but this year has had 9, 11, 9. So he also did that thing, right? Where Kotoshoho is this weird one with the surprise Yusho from last year. So, right. So in that case,
came out of nowhere.
Right, exactly. And I think similar to the conversation we were just having where I was kind of like poking at you about Wakatakakage and Kirishima, I think if we polled the audience right now, everybody thinks Atamifuji is better than Kotoshoho. And yet, who has won a Yusho?
Kotoshoho.
Exactly.
It's blows my mind.
He did it with 13 wins. So not even these 12-win Yushos, right?
He did it the right way.
So what do you think? Compare these two guys for me then. Who do you think does better this tournament, Atamifuji or Kotoshoho?
Kotoshoho.
Whoa! Okay. Why? What do you think he does? Put the numbers on it for me.
I can see him up there towards the last days. He will be on the leaderboard. he will probably be 2 back. So he probably will have like 11 wins.
Oh, you think he's one of those guys who the story after the basho is like, oh, Kotoshoho got a Jun Yusho? But we weren't talking about that the whole time because he was constantly 2 wins back. But at the end of the day, you're like, wait, Kotoshoho had 11 wins? Like one of those.
Yes, exactly. Sure. You're just like, all right, it's day, 10, 11, and he's like right there in the mix. And you're just like, hey, Kotoshoho is going to do it again.
So you think 11 wins for Kotoshoho?
I can see that. Yep, now, I can see that.
And again, I know I'm grinding you on this, but just because I want us to, I want to force the thought exercises. Right?
We're doing it.
If he's getting 11 wins, he is going to be getting multiple Sanyaku victories. So let me ask you who that comes against, right? Because is Kotoshoho beating Hoshoryu?
No.
That's 1 loss. Is Kotoshoho beating Onosato?
I can see a world where he upsets him.
Because of the big bodies?
Yep.
Because he can play big body sumo?
Yep.
I agree. I think that's somewhere where he could get it because if we're living in a world where Onosato's shoulder is not completely healthy, but is healthy enough to compete.
Yep.
And in that situation, Onosato should not be able to bully Kotoshoho because of the size.
Yep.
Kotoshoho is lighter than him, but in terms of height, they're almost identical.
Yep.
And in terms of weight, they're not that far off, right? So I totally see that. But Kotozakura, does Kotoshoho beat him? It's another big body situation.
I'll say yeah.
Okay, so you think he beats him as well. So right now, his only loss we've got is Hoshoryu. How about Kirishima?
I can see him losing to Kirishima.
Yep. Okay, so there's 2 losses, but obviously 11-4 is still in the mix. What about Atamifuji right across the street from him?
I can see him beat him.
Okay. What about Aonishiki?
I can see him losing.
Okay, so now we're talking about 3 losses there. What about Wakatakakage?
I could see Waka beating him.
Yeah, okay, so that's his 4th loss. So he cannot lose to anyone else here, right? So
that's probably fair. I can see him. I don't see him being an underdog in any of the others, I don't think. I can see him being either even or better than anybody else.
I'm just pulling up stats here, yeah. And I mean, I think so. And so you might be right. The problem is he needs to have no mental flubs.
No.
Right?
Because he needs to be on.
Yoshinofuji can beat him. There's no reason why Yoshinofuji can't. I do kind of think Kotoshoho should beat him if we're thinking of him as a guy who's taken a step up, if we're thinking of him as a guy who's holding service Sekiwake, if we're thinking of him as a former Yusho winner, and he formerly was what Yoshinofuji is now, right? Like,
true.
His initial run now, he came up the traditional Heia system route, but he was the young gun superstar all the way up to Maegashira 2, I believe it was, before he blew out his knee, and now is on the comeback trail. He's becoming what we always thought he would be just a little later. He might, I'll have to pull this up, but he might be younger than Yoshinofuji.
He may be,
I don't know, they're in the ballpark for each other's age. And then the other guy there, Oho, another big body guy, another guy we like, another guy I love, but...
You do love him.
Oh, the headaches! Oh, you should be so good!
But he's good. He's that good. But only in short bursts. Only maybe 1 or 2 matches.
Or only against Yokozunas and then not against other people. It's infuriating.
Gold stars left and right.
Yeah. What do you think then, just to round out our Sanyaku here, Oho and Yoshinofuji, how do you see those 2 doing? Is it a top-heavy Bansuke to the point that both of our Komusubis are going to get bounced out because they're going to get beaten up by all these top guys?
I kind of feel that way.
Again, if to hold serve, they need to go 8-7, right? And so that same exercise we just did, I'm gonna name a bunch of names here real quick. You don't have to name after each one, but Hoshoryu, Onosato, Kotozakura, Kirishima, Wakatakakage, Atamifuji, Kotoshoho, Aonishiki. Like, that's hypothetically 8 losses. Each of those guys needs an upset against one guy higher than them, or for someone to pull out from injuries. There's other ways it can happen, but like, the math says, as it should be, that both those guys should go 7-8, in my opinion. Well,
The one interesting thing is, we kind of touched on it, is they have a almost pedigree of beating Yokozunas and Ozekis.
Both of
them do.
Yeah.
And what was it, last basho or 2 bashos from now? Like, Yoshinofuji, it was one after another. He took out both Yokozuna and an Ozeki or something. They definitely have it in the tank to do it.
They do, and so that'll be the big thing. I'm just like scrolling through, looking at past gold stars here on Sumo Stats. Go ahead and check. But Yoshinofuji and Oho have both gone on their runs against very strong opponents. It's just not consistent.
It's not consistent.
And that's why they're Komosubis and not Ozekis.
Exactly. And it just solidifies the fact that, boy, we're top heavy.
Yeah, I think so as well. I'm going to pull up January real quick for Yoshinofuji. Is that when he... Yeah, January is when he got his 2 gold stars.
Yeah.
And so if we look through there, I mean, he's 3-0 against Onosato, 1-2 against Hoshoryu.
That's wild. 3-0 against Onosato.
And 4-1 against Aonishiki.
Wow.
Yeah, so those are good numbers. But, check this out, 0-4 against Kotosakura. There's interesting things going on here. Yeah, I know. So, but that's the thing is, first of all, those sample sizes are pretty small. And two, like, with that wide net, why would you be 3-0 against Onosato and 0-4 against Kotosakura? I don't think we know who this guy is, and I don't think he knows who he is.
No.
I was actually just DMing back and forth with Brett, who we just talked about.
Yeah.
MMA coach. And actually, Yoshinofuji is a guy who he picked out as someone he's really hoping can do well here. And we were just chatting, and the way I feel about him is like, I think he's a guy who in college Yokozuna, was always the big fish in a small pond.
Yep.
And so now it's not that he's not good enough for these guys. It's that I don't know if the mental game, which again, Goose always makes fun of me when I say this, rightfully, right? Because who knows what's going on in anyone's mind, and you can't make any of these consistent or whatever. But I'm just like, how do I explain this when physically there's no reason he can't do this every time? But it's just not happening.
It has to be mental.
But I don't know what that means.
Yeah. But it's like, what's left?
Yeah, agreed. So very exciting. Top heavy Bansuke nevertheless.
Yes.
How about we're going to go a little faster through the rest of this, but the Joijin. So really the strong Joijin is Maegashira 1 through 3. But in general, the Joijin is Maegashira 1 through 5. These top rankers, top fighters. And in my opinion, where Oho slid all the way up to get into the Sanyaku because we had to balance that Bansuke and needed a second Komusubi and stuff like that, I think it is an elephant's graveyard in the Joijin at this time. I think these guys are almost all overranked into these slots based on where their record would have put them last time. I think the Sanyaku are about to absolutely feast on the Joijin. How do you feel, Sean?
No, yeah, I agree. I look at them and it's, you don't have much. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I mean, again, so if I'm going to use the term elephant's graveyard, like, we'll scroll through here, and it is not that these guys are not good Rikishi, it's just like, so Takanosho, former Sekiwake, guy who had Ozeki dreams in the past in his career, but at this point, he's fighting at Maegashira 1 after going 7-8.
Yeah.
That's fine, but
it's a losing record in these Maegashira 1.
Right, and so, exactly, and so then that's fighting again. Chura no Umi has given us some great moments of late, but fighting at Maegashira 2, these are tough matches for him. Not that he can't win them, but this is a bread and butter Oshidashi kind of guy. That's tough to go against guys who have the entire cabinet filled with techniques they can use against you.
The best Tachiai in the business.
Exactly.
Goniyama. And
Goniyama's right. Goniyama's right next to him, but again, one-dimensional wrestler, and we've seen what happens to him when he gets forced into elongated matches. Now, last basho, he was doing good with that. He was actually running off a really good record early, and the second week came back down to earth. Yeah. Hiro to Umi, same thing. Sumo Spiffy talked about him on his recap from May, where like he just seems like a guy that the top rankers have decided they don't want to lose to him anymore. So they don't. Like they have game planned for it. Hakunofuji is up here. Yeah, he's fighting at Maegashira 3, but I don't know if Ochiai will ever be the guy I thought he was when he was Ochiai. He went 11-4 and had a Kanto show. That's friggin' awesome. The final day of last tournament, we all felt a little different about that, but he did what he had to at least have his name in the hat. But I'm just saying he's Maegashira 3 right now, and he's coming from Maegashira 10.
Yeah.
Huge leapfrog. Not that he doesn't deserve it, but holy smokes.
Yeah, but I will say of this group, I'm leaning towards him.
Sure.
Kind of winning this section here.
Right. Other guys in there, Ichi Yamamoto, he can fight up here, but, has he been having great performances? I don't know. Daisho,
mid-tier.
He can fight up here, but is he having great performances? I don't know.
Mid-tier.
Ura just had a great tournament.
He had a great one.
But we don't know what we're going to get from Ura.
No, it's Ura.
Yeah, and Oshoma, whatever. If the Hataki Komi works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But the one I want to talk to you about, so I'm totally okay with you having Hakunofuji being the guy you're picking out of the Joijin. But what about Fujinokawa at Maegashira 1?
He's one of those Mighty Mouses that has a bag full of tricks. He is not an Ura. He is not a Tobizaru. He does not wrestle like a little guy. He will chest to chest you, and he's like, he's kind of like Hoshoryu, just like B-level movie star Hoshoryu.
Hopefully he gets better than that. But I agree with you, because the impressive part about him is that he muscles guys up.
He does.
He frog hops like Wakamoto Haru. He goes body to body and forces him out. Yeah,
exactly.
Do you think between those two guys, which of them, Fujinokawa with the advantage of being Maegashira 1, or Hakunofuji down at Maegashira 3 but coming off of an 11-win tournament, whereas Fujinokawa is coming off of, he was Maegashira 1 last time as well and went 7-8.
Yep.
Who is more likely a Komusubi next basho for you?
If fully healthy, Hakunofuji. I think, man, he's just so powerful when he is on.
Right, his tachi is insane.
It looks so good. He grabs you by that belt and you're done.
He's so fast too.
Yeah.
He looks to me like your favorite wrestler, who we're on the opposite side of it, but like Asanoyama. Peak Asanoyama's tachi was the fastest in the game, and for him to be as large and as strong as he was and still so quick on the tachi, his body was on you. He always won the circle, right? They say whoever gets their foot in the middle first will win. Whoever keeps their hips lower, right? He kept his hips low. He smashed in hard. He just always had the advantage after every single tachi. That's who I see Hakunofuji as being, except he's not, you know,
he's not,
because of the injuries.
Because of the injury. Man, if he's just healthy, and I don't think, like, are they ever really healthy?
No, that's the thing.
It's like we just watch tournament after tournament after tournament. Are they ever really just healthy?
No,
they're not. So
yeah,
but no, I will go. I just think he's just a more complete wrestler with just size and power.
Sure, and it's tough, like, to pick Fujinokawa when we just saw him at this same rank fighting actually not even the same guys, inferior competition where our Yokozunas were out, and he went 7-8. That's tough for me. How about let's slide down to the mid Maegashiras here, which this is another difficult one for me. Is there anyone who stands out to you in the mid Maegashiras? So, I mean, I've got one guy who stands out to me, but in large part, there's a lot of retread happening, I think, except with the exception of like Wakanosho is now up at Maegashira 11. He's in the mid Maegashiras. Who stands out to you?
Shodai.
Oh, baby, talk to me about it.
I joke. I will say Kotoshoho's little brother, Kotoeiho.
Okay.
I see him. I mean, he's been consistent. He's surprised me all of these bashos. He always seems to be in the runnings, at least early on. And he, well, you know, the flexibility. He's got those high legs.
He can fight on a Tawada.
But no, he is actually very surprising. He has a good bag of tricks. He's powerful. I mean, he's just
being much smaller than his brother.
He takes care of business. He's very surprising. I don't see why he couldn't keep it going. I haven't really seen much of a dip from him.
Right. That's good to hear, and he would be a guy that Nick and I usually talk about. We love the slow burn, not the jetpack. So that would be something here, a guy who even came up, bounced down, won his way back up, now slowly rising up. And this is competition he can beat, the guys around him. But my guy who I've got my eyes on is right across from one guy who I don't know if he can beat. Takayasu at Maegashira 7. My boy, Big Papa, should feast here. If he's healthy. Right? He obviously wasn't last time. Why is he at Maegashira 7 then? Well, because he wasn't healthy in May.
I knew he's your boy, so I didn't pick him. But man, if he takes care of business, he could be right up there. You know, this is, you know, usually people say Abi, but no, I'm saying Big Papa's gonna.
What about, speaking of injuries though, like in this range, Wakamoto Haru, any interest in him having a bounce back, or Tobizaru, any interest in him? These guys are these are guys who are better than mid Maegashira but are fighting down.
Yeah. I'm honestly not sure what to think about Wakamoto. I just don't.
I know what to think about him. He's like 33.
Is that it?
Yeah.
He's just been an enigma for me. Like his brother's been doing so much better than him. And there was a while where, was he Komusubi up there?
He was Sekiwake for a long time.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's just been boom, boom. It's like a boulder falling down a mountain.
I think we are seeing more traditional careers of a good, not great, or maybe great, not supreme kind of Rikishi, right? Yeah. Wakamoto Haru has achieved more than many Rikishi will ever achieve in their career.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see the rest of his career as a fighter and to see his career after that, whether that's as a coach, whether that's as an oyakata, whether that he leaves and goes and coaches in college or something. Yeah. I cannot wait to see what happens from him. But this is a guy who, like, getting to Sekiwake is so hard.
Yeah.
So few wrestlers ever do it. And I just think this is age catching up to him. Like you said, a couple years ago, I think, because injuries are a factor here, but I think he was better than his brother Wakatakakage 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What was the difference? Well, 2 years ago, he was 31 and his brother was hurt. Now he's 33 and his brother's 31. You can have that second half prime. Yeah. I just think he's already had it. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Tobizaru?
Tobizaru? So, last basho, he did well, but I remember seeing a little snippet before the basho where he dropped weight.
Yeah.
He lost maybe like 5 kilograms or something like that. We always thought that maybe he gained too much weight and like the legs just couldn't take care of him. But he lost weight and he did well. But I don't know how much there is with that, and I don't honestly know. It's almost like the skit's over. It feels like, okay, the flying monkey, that whole thing, it's just kind of played out now, and like people know how to handle him now.
Fair enough, and it might be true. I agree, because I think about someone like Teritsuyoshi, who much smaller than Tobizaru, but like, we love him, and he throws the big salt, and the little guy, and he goes for the leg picks or whatever. Yeah. And then when it was done, it was done.
Yeah.
Tobizaru's better than Teritsuyoshi ever was, but I don't know.
I just think the wrestlers are better now. I think they've game planned him, and they know he's kind of one trick.
Sumo's a hard sport. Again,
it's hard.
Yeah. We talked about, in honor of Nick, I'll talk about Abi. You mentioned him a little bit here. Like, he should feast all the way down at Maegashira 12, but like, until I see him turn it around, I can't do it. In honor of Nick, just know that Nick's dark horse is certainly Abi, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, not an Abi fan. I'm not expecting much there.
Very few are, but what Abi fans do exist in the world all find their way to our show, because Nick rallies them with the banner.
Yes, he does.
Okay, let's talk about low Maegashiras.
Yeah.
There's really only one guy that I'm super stoked to talk about here, but there are some stories, right? Daiseizan coming up. These are usually Asakoryu is down here and should be able to try to fight back, but for me, it's Kazuma, right? But I'm not picking him to do something incredibly exciting because his Juryo debut was very disappointing. The first time he had to fight 15. This is a guy who had all the promise in the world, turning pro, had a tsukedashi, and then had a disastrous injury, missed multiple tournaments, and then had to fight his way all the way back up from the bottom. But Kazuma, has a disappointing Juryo debut and then wins Juryo with 12 wins last time. So now he is promoted. I'm very excited to watch him and see what he does. I just don't think it'll be 12 wins. Is there anyone you're excited about down here at the bottom of Maegashiras?
Honestly, I am excited about him. I know Takerufuji is back up from Juryo.
We got to talk about this.
And the thing is like Kazuma beat him. So, if he can beat him, I mean, why can't he beat Asakoryu? Man. Why can't he beat Daiseizan? Why can't he beat Shishi?
Very true. These are beatable guys.
These are all beatable guys. Maybe not Kenbozan, maybe not Abi, but like there's beatable guys down here.
Yeah.
And he's new and he's fresh and he's supposed to be, one of the chosen ones.
Yeah. He's huge. You guys, if you guys haven't seen him yet, we're talking Atamifuji size. He's a big boy.
He's a big guy.
Yeah. Let's talk about Takerufuji just for a second, though, because 11 wins and a Jun Yusho in Juryo. Yep. Hey, he's back. It's great. He's going to pick up right where he left off. Except, before that, so many Juryo 8 and 7s. Now, was that him taking the time for his bicep to glue back on, right? That tendon? Is he back? Again, I will talk to Phil about this next week as well, but you, sadly, my friend, are a man who's had many muscles destroy themselves over the years. What do you think? Do you actually expect Takerufuji to be a dark horse and make a run at this?
I do not.
Me neither.
My thing was, he has such small legs. So it's almost like, okay, you're
back on the chicken legs.
You're like Ichi Yamamoto. What does Ichi Yamamoto do, though? He's very, very handsy, pushy. I'm going to push, push, push. Well, you just hurt your arm.
This is where I will accept.
So it's like, okay, you don't have the legs, and now you don't really have an arm. So where are you getting all of this thrust? What is your game plan now? Who are you? What's your identity? Maybe you're fully healed. Let's see if you can throw people. But it's just like, ooh, that's...
Two guys who were breaking through at the same time a couple years ago were Takerufuji and Ochiai, now Hakunofuji. And both of them, in my opinion, were top-down wrestlers. They would battle for a position that they wanted, and then using their outside arm kind of overpower and force their opponent down, which is a young man's game, I think, right? Because like to overpower people like that. But with Takerufuji, we have all seen the cartoon. I mean, he looks like a manga character in his upper body, right? And that's where the legs stand out because of how enormous his upper body was. And so, like you said, if that bicep was part of that equation, then that's definitely going to hurt things. If it's fully healed, sure, we can do that again, but how long does it last? I have no idea. As opposed to Hakunofuji, who, like we said, now the thing that stands out to me about Hakunofuji is his tachi-ai, is his lower body, is the fact that he gets in quick. So I think that is a guy trying to change his game from what he was doing before. I don't know if Takerufuji is trying to, or if his body's even built to do that. I'm extremely excited to see what we get from him. But I don't know.
He's exciting. I mean, he was one of the first.
His name is in the history books and will never come out, breaking a record that stood for over 100 years.
Over 100 years, exactly.
Yeah, agreed. But now, speaking of some of these guys, it is time, Sean, for us to make picks of dark horses and favorites.
We're doing it.
Who do you think is your dark horse? This is someone who doesn't even necessarily have to win the basho to be a dark horse, but it's someone whose name will be in contention on days 13, 14, and 15, but is not an expected pick. Who's your guy?
So I've been waffling, but this is just coming out of my heart, not my head. Saniyama.
Oh, you're doing the Nick thing with Nick and his Ami picks.
We're doing it. But mine's more popular.
Yeah, well, he's not hated anyway. That's darn sure.
So, complete dark horse. There is a little bit of, do I think he still has it? I do. I think he's been progressing. He's back from Juryo. He had a good return tournament. Wasn't great, but it was mid-tier. His knees look great. He pulled out, but I really don't know what the injury was. It wasn't nothing like crazy. And he's Maegashira 10. He can feast down there if he really wanted to.
He should be able to.
He should be able to. I can see him having 10, 11 wins. He almost had did he have double digits?
He had 8, I think, when he pulled out. I'll look it up.
But yeah, I can see him being a dark horse. Is it going to happen? Probably not, no. But, my heart says he's going to be Ozeki again. So it's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, it does.
It's got to start somewhere. So 12 wins. Let's go.
7, 5, and 3 last time. But to your point, when it all fell apart, right? If you take out the Fusen loss to Kotoeiho. And you take out the Tobizaru loss, right? So you ditch those 3.
That Tobizaru loss was...
Well, again, that's
the
match that got him hurt.
Yeah.
Right? So he was 7-3.
Yeah.
He was on pace for a double. He should have probably, knowing him, he should have gone 10-5 last basho. The problem is he did compete the entire basho before that and go 8-7 at Maegashira 12. His debut tournament was 9-6 at Maegashira 16. He was 12-3 at Juryo 4 when he came up and had back-to-back 12-win tournaments in Juryo.
So he's like dead last, and he still pulled out 9 wins against scrubs.
I think, like you said, the question... I wonder if he'll do better if he gets a couple early losses and therefore the matchmakers have him fighting more of those low rankers than the high rankers because his tachi-ai is not as fast as it used to be.
No.
However, he is a man who, if we talk about technique, he has a ton of different ways he can win on the belt, which a lot of guys down here cannot do. And that doesn't go away with age.
And
your belt fighting doesn't go away with age.
He's still a big man.
He's still, and there's a lot of him to push.
Yeah.
So if he's fighting against these young bucks, these Fujiryogas, these Kazumas who just want to outmuscle their opponents, Takerufuji who just wants to happen. He has a lot of weight that you have to move, which buys him time. So that the key for me with Asanoyama will be, how does he look when he is on the edge of the ring?
Yeah.
Is his belt fighting, is his ability to keep his hips low and switch his opponent's momentum for his advantage, is that still there? Is the judo still there?
Yep.
If it is, I'm with you.
Yep.
That's a guy who could be in the running. But a guy who I think, despite the injuries, you know it.
Go ahead.
There's only one guy who should be any of our dark horses, and that is Papa Bear, Takayasu. It is time. It is time for him to finally win his Yusho. Is it going to happen? Obviously not. But just Maegashira 7, he was just fighting in the Sanyaku at Komusubi, and we've seen him throw out incredibly good performances in the Sanyaku. We want to talk about Asanoyama and having still that ring sense at an advanced age. Takayasu has it, but the upper body strength is still there. The man's a monster. Right. The only problem is when you can tell when he can't finish it because he has no strength in his lumbar because of that. If that's fixed, now, did back-to-back transcontinental flights to Paris hurt him?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Those seats are not comfortable.
As a man who's flown across the Pacific.
It's terrible.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So we'll see. But Takayasu's got to be my dark horse pick. There's no other one it could be. However, your favorite to win this. Who's actually winning this tournament, Sean?
I will pick Hoshoryu.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he's going to do it. I can see a world where Onosato, honestly, I can see him pulling out. Really. I can, this would be his first real go of live matches with everything on the line. And I can see where he just pushes too hard and he has to back out.
Yeah. I could see it happening too. My pick, normally I'm a Hoshoryu guy here. After the pullout last time, I'm just a little gun shy, and I just, despite the lackluster performances in the last 5 or 3 days of the last couple tournaments, the number of wins Kirishima has amassed lately, I simply want to hitch my wagon to the most consistent bet and just assume that it's got to be Kirishima. That there's no world where he's not in the 12-win range, and if he can just push that to 13, I know.
Yokozuna 2026? Oh, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why it almost certainly won't happen, but I just think that no one has been more consistent against such high-level competition as Kirishima of late. That's just who I've got to go with for this.
Fair.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, anything else, Sean?
Who do y'all pick?
Yep. Let us know who you're picking. Let us know which point that I've made is particularly idiotic to you. And other than that, thanks for listening, everybody. We're back next week with the injury report. Enjoy the basho.
See ya.